I met Rudi Vrba physically first when I moved to Vancouver in 1977. So it was a visit to their house, but before I met Vrba, I knew of him very well because his nephew, who was another doctor, Stefan Horny, his name was, Rudi Vrba's sister's son. We did internship together in Montreal at McGill. So I knew Vrba quite in detail from his nephew and also from my parents. As we grew up, we can talk about it. I read his book first, paradoxically, only after I met Rudi Vrba. So before 77, and in my teenage age, in the 60s, and I knew about Vrba because my own parents survived Holocaust. My parents survived Bergen-Belsen. They were passed on the Kastner trains. So I grew up basically with Holocaust. And Vrba and his associate Wetzler lived in Czechoslovakia, and my parents knew Wetzler. So we grew up as teenagers much more erudite, much more aware and informed and educated about Holocaust than the great majority of Czechoslovakian teenagers and children. So to start, Wetzler never met. Wetzler was for me only individuals for my parents. I got to know about Wetzler detail much more after I read Rudi Vrba's book and after I met Rudi Vrba. Wetzler strikes me as somebody who is more senior, and then Rudi Vrba at the time of the escape. He was more behind, he was less vocal, he was less, so it was a good interaction. Rudi being more dynamic, Rudi being more action ready. Wetzler would be more quiet and more, let's think it over. The book describes some interaction with underground. There was a lot of interaction and help with the Auschwitz underground. And there was some indication also from my mutual friends that Wetzler, being the more senior, was talked to more, although Vrba would be the one who was more dynamic about it all. So these details are not very publicized because even in Vrba's book it's a bit of downplay. It's not really discussed in more detail.